So this mission introduces us to Struck, or Structure. We got the pink Struck over here, which is the enemy Struck. We got the blue Struck here, which is friendly, benign, as per standard coding. It changes the rules a little bit. I've been warned that missiles are useless against it, but lathes will destroy it. I'm guessing if missiles are useless against it, particle beams and cannon will be too. Although particle beams may be, because they're useful against plasma. We'll have to test it out and see. So what's the plan? Fairly straightforward. We got these 3 energy nodes over here. We're going to grab them as quickly as possible. We're going to use Omnis as quickly as possible to cover this land and snag these 2 energy things. Figure out what these guys are. That emitter's going to be my big problem, I think. These emitters over here. Well, that's an emitter. Again, no clue what that is yet. These guys over here aren't going to be a big threat, I hope, to start with. We'll see what happens. Alright. Deploy here. Omni the islands in the middle. Destroy these. Reassess. So the plan here is snag the energy mines as quickly as possible and come back later for the scrap. Again, renewable energy better than non-renewable energy. Get the Omnis up as quickly as possible. You know what? Get a grabber as quickly as possible too, because these things seem to be producing enemy mire. The grabber will help me keep up with them miring the land. The Omnis are going to do a bit of work, but it's going to take them a while. First, I'm going to build a lathe, grab some of that scrap, spend money to make money. Once I've got a bit of a cash stock sitting around, I'm going to use it to build up some warships. There we are, cash stock. Let's drop a couple more Omnis. Okay, so Plot has explained to me that those are, in fact, mire producers, and then I need lathes to destroy them. Big surprise there. I'm draining power. Well, now that the Omni's built, I'm draining power fast, but other than that, I'm draining power at a very slow rate. Speaking of that, I need to be moving my command ship and my lathe to recharge, or to keep grabbing that scrap. You. There. Grabber, go to there. Start flinging particles at that island and help the mires out, or help the Omnis out. Actually, that is an Omni upgrade, so that I will want as well. I'm gonna need extra power coverage in order to advance on those, so micro-tanker as well. So what happens if you stick an amp gem on a grabber? Let's find out. What happens if you stick an amp gem on a lathe? It seems to have expanded his range a little bit. I'm okay with that. No, you cannot stick an amp gem on an Omni. I thought about it. Right, micro-tanker. While I'm at it, tons of energy. Tons. Cruisers. Let's get some guns up. Micro-tanker is complete. Let's bring him up, and let's take out this upper island. That's going to give me the coverage to drop yet another Omni, and perhaps advance it right into the enemy front. I should give that tanker some coverage, now that the cruisers are done. Not producing much more power than I'm spending at the moment, so we'll take it a little careful. Ooh, what happens if you put an amp gem on one of them? Reduce amp gem. So we're going to see what happens when you put an amp gem in a supply vessel. I'm guessing it just increases the range of supplies. There we go. Indeed. Bigger supply range. I'm okay with bigger supply range. Alright, let's get up here. Cover. We're going to cover with the couple of
Cruiser.
And we'll use that lathe to take out the mire producer and the mine. I doubt that mine's got enough firepower to do enough damage to a lathe before it takes it out. Ooh, so I just picked up the hammer. The hammer is a giant armor plate used for ramming through particles and struck. So, the ultimate attack with your face ship. Okay, now that we've finished with that plot, I really want to take this mine, and I want to keep the enemy off it for now. So let's get the couple of omnis right up there, so that once I've mired the land, I can snag that mine. Meanwhile, I've got the energy coverage to snag both these amp gems, so why not? And since I'm not doing anything else with that energy, all those ships that I haven't produced yet, let's get them producing. Once those three are done, I will start in on the hammer, although I get the feeling that hammer is going to take a while. Good, we got coverage. So that means the energy tanker can move down here. Move that Omni to support. Get these guys up here so I can finally take out this other emitter, or this other enemy mine. That was super helpful. You notice how much more progress was made on the top one than the bottom one. How's that lathe doing? Yeah, he's taking fire, falling back. Well now. That's what I get for not paying attention to the lathe when it was taking fire. Okay, so that was a dumb death. We'll try to avoid dumb deaths in future. Likewise, we'll try to avoid getting our supply vessel killed. So, oh yeah, and Plot explained to me that these things here, I need to charge up with a nearby energy source, and then they'll do something. So we'll find out what something is eventually. Okay, I've got a lot of ships. I can build another grabber, I can build that hammer. That Omni's not doing anything, let's get him down there. Got a couple of spare amp gems, so let's mount them in my favorite place, specifically the cruisers. And now that everything's all repaired, and that lathe is almost done, let's deal with this irritating energy mine. Bring in these guys to cover. They'll be in range. Although constructing the lathe and then moving all its defenses, because I did the stupid thing, constructed a lathe in my front again. It's a great way to get it killed again. Alright, there's one lathe in range. Let's get the other one in range. Destroy that mine. Immediately start constructing my additional Omni. Once I destroy that mire producer, this island should be a whole lot easier to take. There we go, enemy mire spawner destroyed. Alright, next priority. I'll get this thing eventually, this energy mine down here eventually. That's what all those omnis are for. So that means I can focus on my next target, which is going to be this emitter in the middle. I'm going to need lathes to destroy some of that structure so I can get to it. Make sure I still have energy coverage. Sort of. drove the lathe through a little bit of enemy structure, and he took a fair amount of damage, so I will keep in mind that it is very, very hostile to your ships. The moment I can get these guys close enough to destroy that emitter, I'm going to do it. Speaking of that, let's release that amp gem so I can slap it onto one of these lathes and just pop the emitter from a good distance. There we go, power. Now I'm getting lots and lots of power. Can you move yet? Yes, you can. Gem mounted, what's your range now? Can I get you in there? I can. Let's take out that emitter. You know, while I'm here, let's destroy some of this structure. I like the hammer. That was nice. Okay, so that's the central emitter down. So let's move on to part 4, I guess, of the plan. There are these 3 energy nodes. They should be easy to take. And then there's these guys in the background. They're going to be a pain in the butt. I've been watching these unidentified things there, and they seem to be some kind of capacitor. The emitter's charging up the capacitor, and then the capacitor releases in a giant blast, which, if I try to go through for all 3 at once, I don't think I'm going to have the firepower to do it. So while I'd like to snag all 3 of these energy mines, I think what I'm going to do instead is snag the top one, wipe this thing out, snag the next one, wipe this thing out, so I'm going to minimize my fronts. Let's see how well that goes. No. Almost drove the hammer backwards through a bunch of enemy struck, which its butt is nowhere near as good at surviving ramming as its front, which is covered in armor. Okay, the fleet is here. Let's get the fleet up without my really crunchy destroyers and corporate ship in the front, because that would be dumb. Cruisers in front. Lathes in front, sorta. Okay, that's one down. We got energy coverage. Let's actually use you as a wall. Defensive wall. We'll write these things that are charging. Let's see what that does. So I've left this cruiser down there so that it can cover from all these particles coming in. Hopefully it will be enough, but we've got the Joven in case stuff starts to go wrong. I should be doing something with this grabber. Let's lob stuff into the middle. Let's get a second grabber and see if I can do anything with that benign particle. So that charger seems to have, that thing that I charged seems to have exploded and fired out a blue particle, which is doing a lot of damage. Well, it's doing damage. I hope it does more than that. Indeed, it's doing more than that. Okay, I am all right with that. That gets rid of most of the struck in my way. I can live with it. Speaking of getting rid of most... Okay, got rid of most of the struck in the back. There we go. That's what I want, because now I can drive those lathes right in the front door. Lathes, I need you. You know what? Let's just leave you right there. You're a giant wall of armor. Park you between the lathes and... Oh, that one doesn't have the range. That's fixable. You. You don't need that amp gem. So by leaving the hammer in between the lathes and the capacitor, when that capacitor discharges, it's just going to take it on the front and the lathes can keep doing their job. Perfect. New tactic learned. Although these guys are going to be a problem. That next capacitor down is really pouring out the firepower. Alright, capacitor destroyed. Can I get this lathe in range behind him? I can. Excellent. We can slap the amp gem on this guy, and they can both get in range. Perfect. You, I want you. You. There. You. There. You. There. Okay, so I didn't count those particles in the back. That could have been very fatal. But it wasn't. Okay, emitter destroyed, so now we can advance to that next one. Back these guys out. Carefully. How are you doing down here? You're doing just fine. You. Command vessel. That looks bad. So that looks like the thing that I was going to charge and fire off that giant blue death particle is destroyed. So I'm going to potentially have to do this center one the hard way. On that note, maybe I can take out the lower one, because he's still got his charger, and leave this top one for the last, so I can bring all my firepower to bear. Let's see if that works. Actually, yeah, let's see if that works. So, lathe into position, destroyer, get up there. Where's my supply vessel? Get up there. Leave these two to cover all the stuff coming out of there. There we go. Will that be enough firepower? I sure hope so. Let's move them up a little bit, because then I can fall back if I need to, and we'll just keep an eye on them. There we go, there's my blue particle. Ooh, firing the anti-creeper over here was far more useful than I thought. I did not realize I was firing it straight into where the capacitor was discharging, so that's pretty awesome. There's my benign particle. There's my ram. Ram it straight in there. Straight in there. Yep, laser going to town. It looks like this is going to work. It looks like these two ships in the middle are... Looks like those two ships in the middle are enough to hold back that middle capacitor. So now all I need to do is not forget to put my energy generator in range. Take out this lower emitter. I don't think I can get that lathe into position just yet. He's been uncharged for a while, so I need to change where he's... There we go, now he's regenerating. So I suddenly noticed that the particles were punching straight down the middle, and they were just about to that command core right there, which would have been bad. That would have been the death of the ship. So I shifted a little bit so that he was taking the damage to the side instead. Well, have the range. I will now have the range to scoot you up here. Done. Now we back out carefully. And now it's all over but the crying. I just need to get that hammer in range so I can punch through the struck up there. While we're waiting, let's bring the Command HQ up. Not flying through the struck. So that he can at least start lathing. Falling back a little bit so I can maximize damage on those particles. Alright, the hammer is just about done. Get moving, my friend. Lathes for emitter destruction. Alright, everything is in position. Time for the charge.
Stop! Hammer time!
Ram it home. Blades in. Oh, then just get a little closer than that. Okay, we're gonna have to ramp up a little further. There we go. Blades in. Command HQ in here. I need that spare lathe. I need to punch a slightly bigger hole than the hammer managed to. The hammer's taking just a little bit too much damage, so we might have to abort this one. Nope, I got it. I just needed to decrease the DPS a little bit. And I've got my nose back. Let's take this a little slow. That's a lot of struck. I haven't tried punching through that much before, so we're going to try the ram in and fall back method. Once I've got my front plate back again, we're going to do it again. We use the same method for when somebody has stolen your parking space. You have a big truck. You're just trying to get them out of the way. You just keep hitting them until they're out of the way. I'm really pleased I was firing that benign particle in here. I didn't think... I was just kind of ignoring it, but it's doing most of the damage. It's holding that whole thing back. You know, moving some guns in here would probably help too. Yeah, the guns were a good idea. Looks like one more ram should do it. I'll get my front plate back. Let's get a little breathing room, actually. There, now I got some room to move some ships in. Put your face in there. Get the guns in there to support. Get the lathes in there. I love the hammer. The hammer is amazing. I don't know how I would ever exist without the hammer.
Because she's with Captain Hammer. And these are not the hammer.
Plan excellently executed. I love the hammer. It provides a great wall against enemy particles, a great wall to put a lot of your dudes behind. I liked armor before, I like it even more now, and it's really useful for lathes, especially when you smack amp gems on lathes. Let them fire over the top of the hammer.